Good day, everybody. I hope that you are well and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 5 English lesson on idioms and adages. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca.za, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts, grade 5. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of idioms and adages. All right. So this is a continuation of our previous lesson. In our previous lesson, we also did idioms and adages, but we did set one, right? So we in our previous lesson we had to determine the meaning of idioms from context, which was set one, as well as to identify the meaning of idioms and adages, set one. So now we're going to do we're going to continue our lesson, but we are going to be doing set two, right? Which is basically just a continuation of where we left off. All right. So we said our chapter is idioms and adages. Our subject is English language arts. Grade 5. And the lessons that we are focusing on today under our chapter of idioms and adages. The lesson is to determine the meaning of idioms from context, set 2. This is supposed to be set 2. And to identify the meaning of idioms and adages, set 2. All right. So when it comes to idioms and adages, right? So firstly, an idiom, it is a phrase that means something different than what the words in the phrase mean on its own. So which means that it's like a typical saying, but it doesn't mean the direct meaning of what the words directly mean. Right? So you cannot directly translate what the meaning is and then think that that is what the idiom means, right? It's almost like saying it's a figurative expression that we use because it means something different than what the actual words actually mean or what the actual words actually stand for. And that is why we say an idiom is a phrase that means something different than what the words in the phrase mean on its own. All right. And if we look at an example, right? And the example says, under the weather. So if somebody were to tell you that, look here, I'm a bit under the weather, right? Then under the weather doesn't necessarily mean that we see the weather and we are standing under the weather, right? That is not what it means because the direct translation would mean something like under and weather, right? But it has got nothing to do with weather, right? Because if somebody makes mention of under the weather, right? Like I say, it's got nothing to do with the weather, but it means that is someone isn't feeling well, right? So if I say that, like, I cannot, come to you because I'm a bit under the weather, or I'm feeling under the weather. I cannot come and play because I'm under the weather, or I'm not going to school today because I'm a bit under the weather, right? Then it means that the person isn't feeling well. That is what it means. So, under the weather, it means that someone isn't feeling well. And as you can see, under the weather has got nothing to do about weather. Because if we say someone isn't feeling well, we don't even make one mention of weather, right? And if we look at an example of how we can use that within a sentence, and then it says, Sally stayed home because she's feeling under the weather, meaning that she is not feeling well, and that is why she stayed home. Nothing to do with winter, summer, raining, hotness and coldness, snowing, nothing to do with that. And when it comes to the meanings of idioms, right? So the meanings of idioms, it cannot be found by just looking at the meaning of each word. So we cannot just look at the word under, we cannot just look at the word weather and then be like, oh, okay, no, this is to do with rain, this is to do with sun. When it says that she's not under weather, maybe it means that she's getting cold because it is winter. No, right? It's got nothing to do with that. And that is why we say the meaning of an idiom, right, or idioms, it cannot be found by just looking at the meaning of each word, right? So you're just going to have to remember them, or you're going to have to figure out the meaning of these idioms by looking at how they are used specifically within sentences. So, based on how it is used, that is how you'll be able to determine what the meaning of these words are. All right, so now we are going to our little activity. We need to say what the meaning is of get one's feet wet. We need to say what's the meaning of get one's feet wet. What do you think is the meaning of get one's feet wet? And if we look at the sentence says, Mrs. Jensen is a professional singer who got her feet wet by singing in the school choir as a kid. So, Mrs. Jensen is a professional singer who got her feet wet by singing in the school choir as a kid. What is the meaning of those words? All right, and if we were to say what the meaning of get one's feet wet is, and especially we link it to what the sentence is, right? And then we can say that getting one feet wet is to start to learn something. It's to learn something, or to at least to start to learn something. So to get your feet wet, or to get one's feet wet, right? That means it is to start learning something, right? And if we specifically look at that idiom, right, it says get one's feet wet. It's got nothing to do with feet, and it has got nothing to do with getting wet at all. All right, now if you look at the next idiom, right, that says, what is the meaning of asleep at the wheel? Does it mean that the person fell asleep while driving, or sleeping at the, like maybe in the car, or sleeping outside by a wheel? What is the meaning of asleep at the wheel? All right, so asleep at the wheel, right? And asleep at the wheel, if you look at the sentence, it says the board of directors must have been asleep at the wheel last year, given the shockingly low profile, the profits. And asleep at the wheel means not paying attention. And if we specifically look at that words, let's say the idiom, and then if we directly look at it, it's got nothing, our idioms or the meaning of the idioms has got nothing to do with asleep, or it's got nothing to do with wheels, right? So which means that it is a figurative expression, it is not directly. All right. And if we specifically look at asleep at the wheel, the exact proper meaning of asleep at the wheel means to not pay attention, means that you're not paying attention. All right. So once again, before we go to aplusstudents.ca, we said an idiom is a phrase that means something different than what the words in the phrase actually mean on its own. That is idioms, right? And the meaning of idioms, it cannot be found by just looking at the meaning of each of the word. So you're going to have to remember them or figure out the meanings of these words by just looking at how they are used. All right, and as we can see, it's nothing that is directly. All right, so now we're going to A plus students.ca. We did lesson 1 and 2 already. So now we're going to the third lesson, which is to determine the meaning of idioms from context. All right, so we're now on A plus students.ca. And once again, we see that an idiom is a phrase that means something different than what the words in the phrase actually mean on its own. Right, so now we're first going to do an activity and then we're going to our test. All right, we need to say what is the meaning of not one's cup of tea. Somebody tells you, you're not my cup of tea. What does that mean? So if we look at the sentence that not one's cup of tea is in, right? It says, I refuse to watch horror movies because they are definitely not my cup of tea. All right, and if we specifically look at what the meaning of one cup of tea is it something one doesn't like or something that belongs to someone else? All right, so when we say that someone is not your cup of tea, and then it either means that you don't like the person, right? All right, and remember we said with idioms, right? Idioms is a phrase that means something different than what the words in the phrase mean on its own. It is a saying, right? And the meaning of idioms, it cannot be found by just looking at the meaning of each word. So you're going to have to remember them and figure out their meanings by looking at how they are used. All right. And if we look at the first one, right, it says, what is the meaning? Oh, we already said not my cup of tea. Let's go to the next one. What is the meaning of under someone's skin? Someone says under someone's skin. Does it mean that you're going to have to crawl under my skin? All right. So we need to say what is under one's skin. And to get some under someone's skin, it says, I like Trevor, but his annoying laughter really gets under my skin. So I love Kevin, but his annoying laughter gets under my skin. We need to now say what that means. And if we were to look at the meaning of someone's skin, right, to get under someone's skin, then we can say it is basically to bother someone. Because if you're getting under someone's skin, it's like you're irritating and bothering someone. All right. So we said it's getting under someone's skin. It's like bothering the person, irritating the person, right? And then the last one is, what is the meaning of give someone the third degree? The meaning of give someone the third degree. What does that mean? All right. And if we say that give someone the third degree, and then we can say the sentence is the librarian gave the third degree because several library books went missing while I was in the room. All right. And basically to give someone the third degree, all right. And to basically give someone the third degree, we would then say that it is to treat someone like a suspect and ask them many questions. All right. It says, I refuse to watch horror movies because they're definitely not my cup of tea. What did we say is cup of tea? All right. So now let's go to our test where we're going to determine the meaning of idioms from context. It says, what is the meaning of nail? So it says, what is the meaning of nail it? When we say, for example, nail it, and if you look at the sentence, the sentence is, Russell was concerned about performing at first, but he practiced his part so well that he nailed it in the end. What does that mean? Is it to, just to attach something to the wall or to get something extra right? All right. So, what is the meaning of nail it? Is it option one, to attach something to the wall, or option two, to get something exactly right? And remember, idioms is not directly translated. So, nail it, is it option one, to attach something to the wall, or option two, to get something exactly right? All right. And if we say that you nail it or I'd nail it or something, then we would choose option two. It means to get something exactly right. So option two is correct. So well done. What is the meaning of diamond in the rough? Diamond in the rough. And it says, what is the meaning of diamond in the rough? What is the meaning of diamond in the rough? Does it mean a person was hidden potential or ability? Or is it an uncut or unpolished stone? So the diamond in the rough. And if we were to find out what the meaning of diamond in the rough mean, it says, after seeing his promising sketches, we decided that the young artist was a diamond in the rough. Is it option one, a person with hidden potential and ability, or option two, an uncut and unpolished stone? All right. So which means that a diamond in the rough, we can say it's option one, which is a person with hidden potential or ability. All right. What is the meaning of butter someone up? Butter someone up. So, what is the meaning of butter someone up? Is it to start learning something new or to compliment someone because of one's wants, because of what one wants, because one wants something? And an example says, or the sentence says, the salesperson praised me several times, but I knew he was just buttering me up. Guys, can you hear me? Because I don't even see your comments. Let me see something. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I did not even see any of your comments. I apologize. There was just nothing from my side. I apologize. I didn't see any comments. It just blank from my side. And I know that you guys did. Were you able to hear me? Oh, okay. All right, so this is in the end of our lesson now on idioms in context. Remember, idioms, it is not where the word is directly. We don't say the direct meaning. It doesn't mean the direct meaning of that word. It is a phrase where we use to where we mean something different than what the actual words mean, right? All right, so thank you for that, guys. My from my side, it just went blank. Um, But I do want to say that you should have a good day further, and I really hope that um our our lesson will go better next time. All right, have a good day further. Goodbye.